Hi everyone, Kobe again from the State Library of Victoria. So today's episode focuses specifically on VCE English and Literature. We delve more deeply into the English and Lit guides and look at certain resources for specific texts. I'm also going to show you the comparative text section, where we've got the books in their pairs and we've got accompanying resources that go along with them. We'll have a look at how the newspaper databases can help you practice your persuasive language analysis, which you'll need for your upcoming assessments. And we're also going to look at how the newspaper databases can help you go that extra step with your research for your oral presentations. Let's get started. Hi everyone, just before we get started, a quick shout out to Craig Hildebrand Burke, Mairead Kennedy and Tom Stammers, who are VCE English specialists and gave me some great advice when putting together this screencast. So here we are at the State Library website. It's www.slv.vic.gov.au. You remember from episode 1, your one-stop shop for research is Search and Discover. So that's just there. If you're on an iPad, make sure it's in landscape mode. It's much easier to navigate the website. And then click on this blue box here. Scroll down, you can see the catalogue, the digital image pools. We looked at that a little bit in the last episode. We're going to scroll past that now to the research guides. Go over to the right side here and click View All. Now there's lots of guides here that might be useful for other subjects as well as English and Lit, so you can have a glance through those. This one's really cool, Australian Rules Football. History, lots of history databases and things like that. And then we've got the VCE guides on the left, just second from the bottom there. Click on that and go to VCE English and Literature. Now these top tabs up here, so English List 1 and List 2, that's for English students. Then the next two tabs along are for literature students. So between these two lists and this list here, we've got every single book in the English and literature curriculum. So the things that you're studying will definitely be in here. So if I click on just novels, for example, the first thing that comes up on the list is resources at the library. You can't come into the library at the moment, so just skip over that. Don't waste time clicking through that. So reviews, interviews, analysis, and videos, that's what's going to be useful. So let's click on this first one just as an example to see what it looks like. It will ask you to log in. If you're not already a member, it's so easy. All you have to do is go to register up here, fill in the information. You don't have to wait. You'll get a text message straight away to your phone with a little number on it. Really, really quick to do. So pop in my barcode and my family name. And there we have it. Here I am at the article, which is through Gale Literature. So we've been linked straight through to that, which is great. I can read this article and I can also search for my keywords by using that Control F trick. Type in my keywords there. Maybe I want to know something about the structure of the text, so I can see it's mentioned once there and I can read over just maybe that paragraph would be useful for me, and then I can move on. I can also, up here, I can cite the article. So there's the citation. That's really easy. I can send it to myself, so I can email it to myself, download it, print it. Highlighting in notes is really useful. So if you just like a certain part, highlight it, click highlight, put in some notes there. And then when you email it to yourself, that will all be there. It will all be highlighted for you, which is really handy. So we'll head back now and have a look at a couple of other resources. So that was just one of many resources for this book, but you can look at interviews, analysis, videos. These are always really helpful and kind of easy to follow. Got that sort of thing there. The other thing I want to show you is this comparative text section. So if I go to list 2, we've got our comparative pairs, EAL text and Australian text. If I go to comparative pairs, you can see we've paired the books for you. So we've got the Queen and Ransom, for example, over here. So this tab is the Queen. If I click on this one, it's Ransom. And we've got a bunch of resources there for you that are sort of easy to follow in that handy place all together, so you can do that in the one sitting and get some good resources for both of those texts together. Over here, we've got Tracks and Charlie's Country paired together, and you can look through the resources there for each of those. You just need to click between the two tabs. Now, obviously, there's lots more to explore here. You've got VCE literature. You can get all the short stories, poetry, plays, etc. that you need, and they're done in the same way. So they've got their heading, Picnic at Hanging Rock, and all the resources that you might need for those texts. Literary theory and interpretation is just to help you with that section of your studies. Okay, we're going to head back to Search and Discover, but make sure you take some time to look through those guides. There's heaps of resources there for you. Now I want to move on to a different part of your outcomes, which is the analysing persuasive language. So we can go to the section down the bottom of the Search and Discover page, which is databases. We briefly touched on this in the last video as well. So click on More Databases. Scroll right down, you can see they're organised by subject, but I want to go view A to Z. And then instead of all databases, I just want secondary students. And this is ones made specifically for you. And what I want to focus on in this tutorial are these two here, the Age and the Trove databases. This Age database is really up to date. So if I click on it, again, if I hadn't logged in, it would ask me to log in there, so I'd need to log in, but I've already logged in, so it's okay. So I can get the most recent newspapers, all of the Age that I need. So I can go to April. And what I could do is click on one of these as an example, go to this part here, Sections, and just choose the comment section. So what I can do is have a look at each of these different articles, letters to the editor, things like that. And I can have a practice of analysing the persuasive language that the different people are using in these articles. The reason I like this is because it looks like a newspaper, which if you haven't done your SAC yet, some of your assessment tasks will look like a newspaper. So it's handy to have that kind of formatting there for you. And it's also just a really good way to practice analysing persuasive language. Okay, the last place I want to show you, just really quickly, is a database, a newspaper database called Trove. And what you can do for your oral presentations is use this database to help you research your topic. So let's say you're studying something like nutrition, and you're doing an oral presentation on nutrition. You can type that in here. Make sure you click Available Online. You might want Australian content for this if your oral presentation focuses specifically on Australia, and then just hit Search. And then you can find a whole bunch of stuff that is available to you. I really like this Digitised Newspapers section. You could go to different dates, and you could have a look at what people in, say, the 60s were saying about nutrition, and you could compare that with what they're saying today. You could also do that search on the more current newspapers section and do a comparison between those two and use that to help you with your research for your oral presentations. So there is so much to explore here. I don't want to go on too much, but basically we've got our VCE English and Literature guides. I want you to have a look at the Age and practice the persuasive analysis, and have a look at Trove and see how you could use that to help you with your research for your oral presentations. Hope you found today's tutorial useful.